This is how it went this week. So yeah, in the top 1,000 this week, not bad. But it could be a lot better this round too. With a few things. Had a bit of luck. There's also a few players that I didn't have that also did well. So we start off with wicketkeeper Doran didn't play, so I got Harper's emergency. Did well in the second game. Could have gotten more as well. Played a few silly shots that led to a dismissal. I had mediocre first game. He backed it up the second game and still generated a little bit of money. I'll probably just hold Harper because he's going to generate a little cash this time being. He may not make too much, but if he can still get like a 30 or 40 runs, maybe take a couple of catches, that'd be enough. Doran, well, hopefully he can get a game. It's going to be a loophole for now. And then on to the batsman. We've got Short, 41. So maybe a little disappointing from Short. I thought he would, score a bit more. I guess it is only the first week or first round. So it's not really, it's not a huge concern. I guess if you didn't pay up for him, he's a little discount that you can pick him up this week. Although I'd still rather having him in my team, so I don't have to bring him in this week or find the funds to do so. Oval 10.99. Good selection here. Happy with the selection. He's can bat and bowl, which is what you want. And in my opinion, he's probably almost on the same level as Short. Maybe not quite yet, but he's probably the second behind Short as what the all-rounders you want. So it looks like Adelaide have got quite a few all-rounders, but still wasn't quite good enough to get them over the line. And then Webster was a little disappointing, considering he had the double. Didn't really take off in either of the matches, either with a bat or ball. It wasn't an absolute disaster. It wasn't an absolute disaster in both of them, but it wasn't, particularly great either. So he actually lost money, and he might have to go this week. I'll probably go this week, but I might have to bring him in a few weeks' time once Stars have another double. We'll just have to wait and see on that too. Because there's probably a few players that I might want to bring in. We'll just have to wait and see. And then we've got Fraser McGurk, 51. Not an absolute disaster, but still disappointing. Didn't really take off in any of the matches. I mean, last night they only had, 74 runs to chase. So, I wasn't expecting too much from that, but he could have still got out pretty early. I was hoping for a little bit more from him. In the first game, had an okay start, but then really couldn't go on with it. And that's the problem. So he might be a hold or move on. We'll just have to wait and see because who other players I want to bring in. And then you've got Stoners, 133 for the double, which is pretty good actually. So he's actually gone up in price now. Was our best player against Brisbane. Had a good game. It was average for the first game. Didn't bowl in the first game. Bowled really well against Brisbane though. Sort of kept us in it. So look, Stoners, he's going to be a hold because he's a bat and bowler. And you know what he can do. He can get like 50 off 20 balls. And he could get a couple of wickets as well. Which would be handy. And even better if he can get a good comedy rate. It all depends if he bowls. I guess it depends on the game situation. But yeah, he's definitely going to be a hold for a while. Until he reaches his max price point. But he might even be able to just hold for the general. We'll soon see if he performs well this season. He might be one of the best pickups. And then Renshaw, 18. So I'm not too sure why I selected him because he was cheap and still undervalued. The problem with Renshaw, there's only 2 more runs before he can get the strike rate bonus. He'd gotten that, and he might have actually increased his price. Because it was meant to be a cash chance. It sort of failed. But he sort of had a start but didn't really get along with it. So we'll just have to wait and see with Renshaw because they've still got a few players coming back in Brisbane. So this pick might not be particularly that work out. I mean, it's not going to be a complete disaster because I'm not really going to lose too much from it. I was hoping he would get like at least 30 or 40 this week against Melbourne just to generate a bit of cash. which didn't quite work out. And then the surprise of the round, was Kostas get a 101 score, which was just amazing. Oh, she scored more than Short and Overton as a batsman. Unbelievable. Yeah, so look, yeah, that's a bit of a surprise. That's probably a bit of an outlier. I'm not expecting it every week, because you can get out for a duck next week, and you know, the frustrating thing is I didn't really have any loophole here to loop him with. I think I already had a few players already played anyway by the time Kotz scored or played, so it wouldn't have mattered what score he got and whether it was a duck or made a century. It wouldn't have mattered. But I think it's more cash gen. Ease is probably going to have to just sit there for this time being. I could find me slipping from McKirk, depending who they're playing, because everyone else is a bowler batsman. You'd rather have multiple avenues of scoring. But that was a good pickup. He's going to be probably in the team for a while now. And then you've got the bowlers here, Sutherland. So that was probably the best decision that I made this round. 217, phenomenal. Got the captain score as well. It's just fantastic from Sutherland in both games. He performed well. It was a good decision. I did have the VC with Sub, wasn't really looking to be a good option considering Curran did well in the first game. But Curran was a bit of a roller coaster. He was fantastic the first game, kept Melbourne Stars in it, but the second game he was terrible. Didn't make much runs at all, and bowled terribly, which is unlike him. You'd think he'd at least get a wicket or have at least a decent economy, but that wasn't the case. So it was a bit of a roller coaster. Still made money off him. And probably still keep him because he's still a good player. I think that might be that might be his worst game this season. It'd be hard to perform that as bad for the rest of the season unless he gets injured. To be honest, Sutherland, good option. That was a bit lucky though, because a lot of the Renegades bowlers did well, which we'll talk about in a minute. And he had a good first game as well. And then Cooper Connolly, 101. Well, the reason why Perth won that match, really, they did bowl well, but they were in a bit of trouble early, and Connolly sort of saved them. If you got out cheaply, they might have won that. So Hunter, if you got out, they might have won that. 102, which is not bad. So look, he's still probably going to stay in my side now because Perth have got a double matchup. So the main reason why I selected him, because they've got a double this week, I believe, which I'll check in a second. And then you've got O'Neill, who performed well in the second match. Was mediocre in the first match, but like a lot of the Renegade bowlers, they would have had decent figures and would have scored quite well. So 125, I'm happy with that. So he's probably going to be... We'll soon see. See what his break even is. Because... so Klotz has to be -2, so he's going to make money. So I'll probably just hold on to him this week. Fortunately, I might have to get rid of Zampa. So look, he got a wicket. I think it was on the last ball of the innings. We sort of saved his score. First match was just terrible. Didn't really do anything. But the second match, he did get a wicket, which is okay. We should have saved him a little bit, but it was still a bit disappointing. Like, he wasn't going to get really much of a bat because only made 74 Hobart. And I think he was injured as too, part of the game as well. Sam probably has to go. Though 75,000, you can probably still make money off him. If you do hold on to him, I reckon. If he has a couple of good games, because he can get a couple of wickets at a good economy rate, and if he does bat, he can maybe score, 20 or 30 runs at most if he has a good decent innings, if he can. So there is potential for Zampa to go, but the problem is, you've got other teams that have got the double. So it might be, it's going to be a difficult decision because he hasn't made enough money to get rid of, and you've actually lost money. But at the same time, he does have that upside to, get more money as well, and has performed poorly. But yeah, it's a tough decision to make. He's probably on the fence to get rid of. And then onto the bench here, we've got Fabian Allen and then Henry Thornton, who did okay. Maybe Allen was a little disappointing, 33 as an all-rounder, but Thornton as just a single bowler is okay. Looks like they've got the double this week, so they're probably going to stay in the side this week, because who knows how well they're going to go. Look at the Stars, so they might actually do all right. Adelaide. So Finn Allen might be out. Fabian Allen. Finn Allen plays for Perth. He might actually be an all right selection this week. Although Melbourne Stars do have a few good players coming in, Maxwell and Duckett coming in, but you also have Joe Clark leaving. So it might actually not be as easy as a game as you might expect. And Melbourne Stars did beat Adelaide last year, although Adelaide did score well. But I'll still keep Allen. I still reckon he'll have a half decent game at the bare minimum. And Thornton, you just keep him just in case, because Stars can either perform okay in the bat or can collapse. We've seen him have a few decent bowling figures before Thornton. I think it was that record-breaking game when Sydney Thunder scored that really low score. So we'll soon see. He's going to be on hold for this week anyway, since he's got the double. And then finally with Mackenzie, so he did lose a little bit of money. He didn't really do too much in the first game. Got a wicket in the second game. The problem is with Mackenzie, he bats. He actually did score a few runs last against Brisbane. He didn't really do too much in the first game. He was a little bit better in the second game. So he's potentially another one that's on the fence of moving on. The thing is, he hasn't really made much money, and that was the whole point. So him and Zampa have probably been two of the worst selections, I would say, in my side this week. Maybe you could argue with McGurk as well, but maybe I've lost too much, but I haven't really gained anything. And these are the players you want to make money off. Maybe it was a bit of a mistake having Mackenzie as just a bowler, and a mediocre spinner at the best, to be honest. But he's still going to improve. He's still fairly young, so there is a bit of upside to that. Zampa is just disappointing. He was all right actually against Hobart, but didn't really get as many wickets as some of the other bowlers. So what I'm going to do this week, I'm probably going to it looks like people are getting rid of Webster and Zampa, which is probably the correct call. O'Neill, I'll probably hold on to O'Neill because you can still make money just by playing. I'll probably hold him for this week and then maybe move him on next week. Depending on if Renegade to the double or not. And Curran, I don't really like to trade double players. It all depends on the situation and who I'm going to bring in. Trade it in. I don't know why people bring in Tim. He had one good game. Berendorf, Richardson. Yeah, Richardson would be an interesting one. Who they've got? They got Hobart who only got 74. So I don't think they're going to get that next week against Perth. It's going to be a tough one. Is Aaron Hardy going to come in for Perth? I'll just think about that. And then you've got so I'll probably have to bring one of their bowlers in. Already got some of the bowlers here to come in. So Webster probably have to come in. And then you got Sydney, you've got double next week. So I was going to bring in, what's his name from Sydney? Edwards. Maybe I could get rid of Zampa for Edwards, but I don't have the cash, don't I? I got 28,000. So that's not going to work out. Allen, I could probably go in for Zampa. And I'll probably put Thornton as an emergency for now. Zampa will probably have to go. McGurk. Renegades don't even have anything playing next week. So I can see Sullen maybe. I'll hold him for another week. McGurk probably has to go. And I'll probably bring in an Adelaide or a Perth batsman. What's Chris Lynn's price? That'd be interesting to see what it. Team. Okay. So you've got Chris Lynn at 181. Yeah, Chris Lynn's still expensive. Got star, but he could go bananas. Nelson 55. That's a bargain. He actually played. I mean, if you want someone cheap and you can probably make money, you could go Harry Nelson. But I probably want someone a little bit better. 148,000. I don't have quite enough for James Baisley. I could bring in. There's a bat and bowler. You know what? I'll bring Baisley in. Now I've got I've got 5 Adelaide players. It's probably a bit too much. I probably need a Perth player. Yeah, we'll sort it out. I definitely have to bring in maybe a Richardson though for the bowling. Take out Zambra, bring in Richardson. For the bowling, that's definitely an obvious one. What other people to bring? Witherald, who can bat. He just had a few average seasons. Ashton Turner, 76. He's cheap but can do well. People ask getting rid of Comcar and Fabianella. Why would you get rid of Fabianella? He's going to double this week. Maybe Mackenzie. Yeah, I'll have to wait and see how many carriages I have left. Still got a lot more and plus a boost. All right, well, yeah, that's it for today. Yeah, decent round. It's about planning for the future as well.